Now, what does that do to the people? I mean, that forces them to kind of act out in this manner. The question will go back to that, right? How do people that are against this type of these type of actions, what is the best way for them to force the government to change, right? To change the way they're approaching things.
Damn. Gucci let it flam, and he passed it to his man. Got a batting glove on.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? All right, we are blessed to be here today. It is a Sunday morning, 8:56 a.m. to be exact. Thank you, Lord. I'll start off by that. All glory to you guys. If you think that you have not had the most of blessings lately, remind yourself that just waking up today and having this opportunity,
you're alive.
That's right. It's just a blessing itself. Change that perspective. Half full as opposed to half empty. I understand everybody's got some issues. Not everybody has the same, health.
Just outlook, man. Overall, I mean, you've got the idea here, bro. Like, not to cut you off, man.
No,
but
break right in.
I just feel like I can supplement that really quick. It's just the idea of gratitude, right? You got to understand that every day is an opportunity for you to start something, whether it's continue a project you're on or start something completely new. Just fucking do it. Like, what's the whole purpose we're here for, Mo?
So,
it's agendas, man. It's agendas.
Sorry.
You know what I mean? I like that. I like that, bro. I caught you off guard, but I love it. Yeah, you did. I love it.
Anyway,
it's agendas.
Well, yeah, let me break that down. I was about to go ahead and take my sip, and you just got me. But
yeah, man, it was like a whole.
Caught me off guard. Our mission here, overall, reason, and we always throw this out as a reminder, Stogies and stuff initially started off with just getting you guys to have a more enhanced side on critical thinking. That's because right. A lot of times we're all tempted to just initially believe whatever we're seeing on the media. I used to be one of those, like, fuck, man, these motherfuckers are fucking with us again. And then and it didn't matter what administration was at play. For the longest time, I'm letting you know, I was a Democrat. And then recently my values were realigned on the Republican side. That doesn't mean I always agree with the administration that we currently have. A lot of times people think you can only be one or the other. No, motherfucker. It can be deeper than that.
Yeah,
okay.
It can.
And anyways, what we're promoting here is initially getting you to think outside the box. You see something on the news, plays on out. They're pushing this heavily. Don't you guys ever come to question why? Why is this happening? That's what we're initially promoting. We're not initially trying to get you guys to just agree with our stance and positioning on matters. It's more like, one, we want you to have more of a critical thinking approach, but two, also be okay with having a difference in opinion.
Yes.
It does not initially have to go straight into insults. I think that's become the new trend of difference of opinions, managing that. Yeah, like it's just, okay, if you don't agree with me, you're a fucking fascist or racist or, what is it that's being pushed out right now? No kings. Like, what the fuck? Like, okay, guys, we understand that. If anything, we're the ones always, if it's just Republicans. But if one thing that's always being pushed out is we the people, one nation under God, this is a Christian-based country, okay? And if there's one king, it's Christ alone. That's the only Christ, the one true Christ living God. Baby. The mighty and the majestic, the man himself, And so, yes, there is a king. You guys need to remind yourselves of that. But it's not what you guys are initially pushing out as if Donald Trump is trying to portray himself as a king. I'm not trying to get at that. What I am trying to get at, though, guys, is just it's okay to have a difference of opinion. We don't have to insult each other. We can agree to disagree. And as long as your opinion has got some heavy facts behind it, then fuck, great. You might even change my opinion and ours. But let's just get there first. Let's get to that table. Let's wine and dine and have some fucking steak. Because that's going to be our next topic of coming up
hold
right
on,
now.
Slow down a little bit. Slow down a little bit. Yeah, you did. Too excited. But here's the thing, guys. You got to understand here. Going back to, and I love the spiel Mo just did because it gets us fired up. It gets me fired up, and it reminds me why I'm doing this. It reminds
fired up, Mike.
All of us why we're doing this. And to bring us back on the idea behind it, there's political thought, and then there is just straight up, all bullshit aside, human to human. How you doing, man? You know, and not the whole feelings of, are you okay? No, it's just, hey, treat me right, fucker, and I'm going to treat you right. You know, treat someone else how you would like to be treated. Not only is it a commonsensical approach, but it's a biblical approach, guys. I mean, treat thy neighbor as if, you know, they were your own.
Mm-hmm. And that's going to be another part of the topic.
The whole one, but it's rooted in that, right? It's the humanitarian aspect
that's right.
of it. You know what I mean, Jonathan?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, I like that, Jonathan.
I completely agree, man. I mean, if you were to take it down to its most or more simplified, right, is literally that. As humans or human beings, individuals, it is treating each other with respect. Although, going back to what Mo was saying, even though you have differences of opinion, right?
Yeah, Mo hit it on the nail.
Right, like it's there's no reason to become violent, right? Obviously, disagree, prove your point, and just leave it at that. That's
move on.
That's the beauty of living in this country, right? We get to have differences of opinion as opposed to being oppressed by one's, agenda.
Yes.
We get to have that luxury of having different ideas. So I completely agree.
Difference of ideas. Let's get to that table. And again, we're going to talk about a few things initially right before we go live. Kind of give ourselves somewhat of a memo. And the memo was we were going to focus on some local news, regional, and of course, in this case, global. Right? Yeah, worldwide. So starting off with local, I last touched off with let's get to that table. And I said, let's have me some steak. Well, let's pull up the screen here. Jesse, pull this up, please.
Don't tell me what to do.
Prime steak and seafood. Ah, man, I love me some red meat, bro.
I don't know how prime it is, though. No, I'm just kidding.
I've heard some very mixed reviews about this place, just like any restaurant. I mean, no one's perfect, okay? Right. I'm not going to go ahead and say, they need to always be perfect.
Right.
But, I mean, for the most part, they've been here a good little while now. I want to say it's been a few years. It's one of those areas where, if you ever consider having some form of a luxurious date night or we want to give that type of presentation, this is probably one of the restaurants
to go to
will come up in the topic as far as where should we go, right? Now, there's been a lot of fucking drama going on lately.
Unfortunately.
As we
Not
know,
the good way.
Yeah, social media nowadays is a huge outlet when it comes to public relations shit.
Yes.
What's going on out there? And if you guys may have heard, but man, it's sad to say, but there was initially
there was a fallout.
Yeah.
And a lot of it had to do with scheduling, I think.
Well, let's bring it up. I don't necessarily know the owners. I'm just looking this up right now, but let's start off with this post. Miss Valeria Guerra. Ms. Guerra, we're just going to go ahead and bring this up right now on your behalf, off of your experience. My apologies with the hostile language that we're seeing here. But anyways, let's read initially what you shared with us. It says, in February 27th of 2025, this is a little story time of when I got fired. I couldn't go in because my son's daycare closes at 5 and they expected me to drop everything and go. Mind you, it was Thursday and I was always off Thursdays. They had us working all week. I simply told them I couldn't go, and this is the response I got back. Waited a bit to post because my priorities were to find another job ASAP, but it never sat well with me how they got away with it. I survived 8 months, and you may ask yourself why, and it was because I needed a job. Moving back to the valley, started from zero, was a very hard obstacle to overcome as a single mom. But I was very thankful for the support I had behind me. But I'm posting this as an awareness, and I still refuse to go down to their level and let them get the worst out of me. I kept it civil. Enemy will always try to attack you with the people surrounding you. And when I tell you I was tested. But I kept God and kept praying for strength. But anyways, the owners of the restaurant, she calls herself a business owner. That was a really long
what was
sentence.
the messages, bro? Let's see.
It says, okay, some WhatsApp message, a group message, Prime official. Okay, this is official group message.
It appears to be.
Yeah. Today is going to be Oscar, Victor, Paula, Eddie. Valeria, can you come in as well? This is a Mr. Robert Cavazos. Maybe he's manager, I'm thinking. Beatriz Sainz. Yes, Valeria or Enrique, I need you to go in. Apparently, Miss Beatriz Sainz is
the owner.
Her and her husband. I don't know who her husband is yet. Yes. No, Danielle, we can go of Johan we let go of Johan, so schedule's changing. I can't go in, especially when it's last minute. I can see that. So that's going to hit me. Miss Valiera replying. Robert, starting next week, no one is going to have any more than one day throughout the week. Only Sundays and one during the week. I mean, any more days off, I guess, other than one day. Well, Beatriz, the owner, that's bullshit. You are always on call. I don't see how me being home or how being home with my child is bullshit. If you knew you were going to fire Johan, you should have called me ahead of time. And I mean that with the most respect. Look, fuck off, kid, and just go. Don't go, you freaking loser. That's how you treat your employees. Yes, fuck you. You're fucking fired too. Damn. Go work with your fucking faggot boyfriend.
Whoa.
Damn. That's fine with me, ma'am. I'll pick up my final check on Saturday. So yeah, and it starts all over.
Damn, that escalated quickly.
Yeah, I mean, shit. What are y'all's takes on that? That shit's fucking intense. That's very unprofessional. I'm gonna tell you right off the bat.
Right off the bat, especially as a business owner. I don't care whether you're raised in, the barrio versus the fucking uptown versus, doctor, lawyer home, whatever. This goes back to our theme of humanitarian. Treat someone as you'd like to be treated. Do you think that woman would like to be talked to that way?
I don't think anybody would like to be talked to.
That's right. That's
it's
right.
Hostile language, ladies and gents.
Yes, it is. And the fact of the matter is, look, I don't know what it's like to be a mom, but even then, a single mother. I mean, I understand what it's like to have a child, and it's definitely not something you play around with, especially for last minute matters. What was she gonna do? Put someone else's time at stake for the sake of having to go into last minute to work? Now, granted, guys, there's always more to whatever story. I'm merely taking on face value what we're able to see here. Of course, I'm sure this other woman, Beatriz, is going to have a side to it saying, no, she would always do this. We would ask her to come in. She would say, no, I can't because of my child, whatever. And everybody's got a boiling point, right? Now, is it the best reaction from a purely, you said it right, non-hostile work environment? Fuck no, it's not.
Well, look, it's going to... Sorry, do you want to go right ahead?
No, I completely agree. I mean, that could be a possibility that, this one girl, Guerra, has done it often, she and the owner got to a breaking point. But, and you said it perfectly. I mean, that's no reason for you to escalate the situation and then, lose your composure, man. Yeah, that's where this all... Now, I guess almost everyone's gonna be on Guerra's side because of the way the owner reacted.
Well, yeah,
correct.
I mean, look at this real quick. Back to the screen. It's going viral. You've got 1.3K shares.
Damn.
Okay, left bad review, prime mistake seafood. Shame on you, bro. Oh my god. I mean, you're just seeing everybody put their input. Now, no one's necessarily talking about their service. They're talking about the management right here.
Right.
You get me? Professionalism in there. And so overall, when you see this, I know shit. That was my response too. I was like, God damn.
So yeah, I think you said it early on. This is a PR crisis that they're having right now.
Mm-hmm. It is, and it can completely destroy them if not managed correctly.
Right.
As of now, I did look back to see if there was any kind of form of public apology.
Or accountability, huh?
Yeah,
I think they're making it worse.
If anything, this is initially what was pushed out next, which was June 10th. Beatriz from Prime Steak and Seafood in McAllen les manda saludos a todos sus haters. She
more chisme.
She posted this story privately, but a little birdie me lo mandó. Also, they're working on removing the reviews from Google because last night it showed 1,200 plus reviews and now it shows 600 something. The audacity to not even offer a public apology, pretend like nothing has happened.
The flipping of the
She's
bird.
throwing the finger. I mean, keep it classy. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, good shit. Good on you. Like
212 shares.
Now,
and negative comments have been deleted.
Guys, obviously we're not naive. There's no... Go back up to the picture, please. There's no timestamp on this. There's nothing to verify. Like, if you notice the screenshot they took on a story you put, wouldn't it put when it was posted like a day ago or whatever?
Could be.
It would have like hours or whatever.
Right.
That's obviously intentionally cut out. So the ironic part of no more chisme, spreading chisme, I guess that's part of it, right? But I'd probably expect more of that because that could be an older picture. How do we know that that's a response to the comments? And in other words, it's being twisted and manipulated to show that that's how she's responding to the reviews and to the hitback.
Yeah,
I'm not saying that's not the case. I'm just saying if you want a little bit more credibility to what you're saying, timestamps, whether this is a direct response to the matter, even anonymous testimony. You know, I asked the person who sent this photo in when this was taken. They said it was this time, whatever. You know, like
documentation.
Correct. I mean, you know how it is, Jonathan. How are we for stickers for that in court?
Yeah,
for admissibility.
Very detail oriented. I got 2 questions. So when did this take place? When was
This week?
It's June 9th. Yeah,
June
on the
9th,
Valeria Guerra's post.
And from what we've
So
seen
we're
right
June
now,
15th. So I believe it was on
5 days ago, 6 days ago. That must have been
early
Tuesday
this week,
or
right on Monday.
Monday.
Everything start the week right with a powerful stance, and that's exactly what happened with Miss Beatriz Sainz and Miss Guerra. You know, there's a difference of opinion here and
big difference.
So, but from their page, I guess they still haven't put an apology or anything like that.
No.
What's the latest post they had? That one?
So let's look. I mean, right here though, let's raise a toast to our inspiring owner Beatriz Sainz. Her leadership and unwavering dedication to Prime are a key factor to our success. We'll see if that's still the case.
She's gonna call us out, bro.
So it says he's been there for every milestone. Now turn your honor to him. The Father's Day and treat your dad. Well, we ain't going there.
No, we're not. No, sirree.
They're just promoting Father's
You're
Day.
You're lying to me.
Acting like nothing's going on.
Yeah, that's horrible. There's got to be some accountability. Even a position.
I'm showing here now already. The Facebook reviews are off or non-exist. They're not showing up on their page anymore. So as a Facebook page manager myself,
you know what's up.
You can take that off. You can completely take it off if you like. It does decrease your chance of showing up on searches when people are looking out. But you know, in this case, when you're getting all that bad PR, kind of have no choice.
Now, taken from our audacious leader, Trump. No publicity is bad publicity.
No bad publicity. Yeah, exactly. No publicity is bad publicity. So
now,
if they're not talking about you, then fuck. You know?
Right. So from that take, from your eyes, bro, as the marketing guru,
yeah.
What do you think of that?
Well, look, already, before I do anything, as much as I'd like to just market myself, I get in contact with any business owner making more than this is my opinion, okay?
Right.
But if you're initially not net, but grossing at least $500K or more, my opinion is get general counsel. Okay. Why? Because from there, you're more vulnerable to any kind of attacks. Okay. And this is one of those possible at-risk moments. Okay. So you can contact gentlemen like Mike, Johnny themselves, get those contacts in, but before you do anything, consult with your attorney. Hey, these are my issues. And everything's going to come down to the risk to reward aspect. Now, what I would do initially is I would definitely put an apology. I'd push out my story already. However, I'd go over the narrative that I'm about to push out with my attorney, because even I know, and I don't have to be a fucking attorney to know this, but there are legal and ethical considerations here, and mostly on local labor laws. Firing someone in this manner, especially for reasons with, family obligations, it can raise those legal questions. And I did look a little further down into this, and although I'm no attorney myself, I'd go over with Mike.
You're a businessman.
Yes, but I'd go over it with him, and I talked to him. One of the biggest things that stood out to me already when we were going over this was, and I'll bring it up here because we know we got all these shares, is the fact that you say starting next week, no one is going to have off more than one day throughout the week. Okay, well, already I'm telling you this. Are they getting paid properly on the overtime pay?
That's right.
I think 1.5 is what's 1.5
is
what's
time
required
and a half,
down here,
correct.
right? Okay, and if they are working 40 hours a week, how is overtime pay being managed? And if that's not paid properly, guess what? Now they're at risk of that. Okay, if you're telling me I can't, and it's already been shown.
Yeah, no shit.
We're not taking any days off here. Great. Now, also, I guess, discrimination. Is there some form of discrimination here?
Well,
right? That's the hard part, because it's technically, Texas, from what I read, is very broad when it comes to labor laws. It's not very direct. Like, as far as discrimination, it has to be race, sex,
correct,
or some kind of disability.
Thank you. Good shit.
Yeah.
You say you're in the right mindset, bro.
Is it linked to a protected class there?
That's right.
That's the
madre,
fuck.
That's
man.
what I was about to say.
Fuck.
Well, we got a question if she's in a protected class. She's not. A mother is not a protected class, unfortunately.
It's not. You know, it isn't, unfortunately. You know, but it can say it can, and this all comes down to, you know, hiring the right attorney, guys, proper representation, terminating employees for reasons that could be constructed as discriminatory or retaliatory,
That's the
especially related to gender or family responsibilities.
Well,
you know,
I mean, this is straight up retaliatory.
Yeah.
I mean, this is like, oh, really? You don't want to come in? You know what? Don't even. You're fired. Don't even come in.
Exactly.
It's like, what the fuck, dude?
And then
the question becomes, well, what retaliatory towards? Were you reporting? Were you being a whistleblower?
Exactly.
Like a protected act as well.
And the next thing, of course, and this comes down to the final thoughts, is, you know, can now one say that this was a hostile work environment? You know what I mean? It can't just be displayed off of one.
Correct. One instance.
Exactly. It has to be more. But this is where probably other people or other past employees have now the potential to speak up. And if they start saying that shit,
fucking Mo,
get the
guys.
fuck ready. You know what I mean?
The man himself. I like that shit.
But at the end of the day,
you're in the right headspace.
Thank you. Bless you.
Well, listen, thank you.
Thank
See it from Guerra's perspective. Like,
Tell us, Johnny.
What are the implications of her like putting this out publicly?
I don't make no sense, bro.
No, like her,
making it known. She said it didn't sit right with me. I felt very disrespected. At the end of the day, the motive is coming down to the respect behind the work-life balance too.
No, but I mean, like,
I get what you mean.
Oh, go ahead.
The implication would have been if she would have just described it.
Oh, yeah.
Because if she would have said, "Oh, Beatriz told me to fuck off," this and that, then there is potential defamatory implications on Valeria's part. But she was smart enough to keep receipts of the actual conversation to where you've got a name and timestamps, not necessarily a day, but you know, you got the conversation, prime official. Beatriz is the first one there. So you know it involves the owner. You've got a Robert Cavazos with a phone number, and then you got the Beatriz signs, which I don't know why it doesn't have her phone number. It's probably because he's not a saved contact. I don't know how that works on WhatsApp. But the point of the matter is, unless she comes out and directly disputes that that's not her, this is not defamatory because it's literally words coming from her.
Right.
The question will become, how is it being interpreted, right? This Valeria Guerra is not interpreting it. She's just saying, look, this is something that I dealt with, you know, I didn't appreciate it. And then people themselves are coming up with the opinion of it. So as far as defamation implications, I don't see any. The only implication I saw was probably her getting fired, which she already did. And that's probably why she was in the fuck it attitude. Because she's like, well, I've already been fired. I'm already, you know, getting another job. But look at how these people are.
Yeah, let me put it out publicly.
But I will tell you this. I would not be surprised, especially in this industry, okay? If the environment is somewhat hostile.
Oh, why? Yeah, man.
I mean, anybody here watch the show The Bear?
Yes, that's what I was about to say.
Chef.
Yes.
Yes, chef.
No, chef.
You know, if you guys understand the reference,
benevolent
you already know.
dictatorship.
Exactly. They're constantly pushing for excellence, okay? I mean, look at Gordon Ramsay for the longest time.
Just touch that fish there. Just touch how dry. It's got more fucking wrinkles on it than I have, and I'm 44 years of age. And that should be fucking cooked fresh.
Yeah, you know, on these shows.
Yeah, they're aggressive.
Exactly. If this, going back to the website, I mean, I see this website, see nice presentation. I mean, look at this already. This is initially the culture that they're more than likely trying to present. Like, hey, come to us because of, look at how well we present and make your food so beautifully placed. You know, now I will tell you this, there's mixed reviews of how consistent they are actually with that. But if they're actually trying to meet that standard, of course, it's going to be a little, what the fuck do you mean? You know exactly what we're trying. Fuck this. We don't,
Correct.
One day off is all you get. That's enough. We're trying to meet this goal.
Yeah.
But however, how well that's being managed is another thing.
That's
you know
right.
I mean?
It's the whole idea of the ad hominem attacks, personal attacks, guys. I'm all for it. Like, if I've got, whether it's a co-attorney, a colleague, or partner, or a co-partner at the firm, fuck yeah, we have heated discussions about work, about the law, about why something should be applied versus not, this and this interpretation, X, whatever. But the unnecessary comments there, your faggot boyfriend.
Yeah.
You know,
those are
off,
personal attacks.
Those are personal attacks that are no longer about work.
What did we talk about in the intro of this podcast? There does not need to be personal attacks to have a difference in opinions.
Yes, that's where you draw the line in terms of, well, shit, you don't have respect for me as a person anymore. So why would I? And obviously she fired her, right? But we know how it goes, right?
I'll tell you this. as you grow in any industry as a leader, business owner, etc., one, you're going to figure out and you're going to notice problems never go away.
No.
He ain't lying.
But the way to true leadership growth, in my experience, is getting comfortable and becoming great in the management with uncomfortable situations.
Yep.
Right? In this case, or disappointing people. In other words, get good at dealing with disappointment. And in this case, as the owner here, and I implement these same practices on my end, I do not always agree with how certain individuals in my team manage their own time and the clear goals that I have set for us, right? But I do not personally insult them. I might occasionally cuss about the situation we're at, like, fuck, we can do better, guys. We can do better, ladies and gents. Why the fuck are we getting ourselves beat? I'll talk about it in that manner, but I won't say you're a fucking loser.
Right.
Fuck you, you know? No, that's different. What I would have done in your situation, hey, Valeria, look, fine, you can't come in Monday first thing on your next shift. Be prepared to have a conversation that's not going to be that fun. We're going to have to talk about this and why this is not initially good for the company.
You know our mission. You know what we're trying to do here.
I understand your point that Johan was a unexpected fire in your hand, but as a business owner here, got so many things going in. And one thing we're always preaching about here is having each other's back. Are you sure that you can't have somebody last minute come help you out? You know what I mean? We've talked about overtime pay. If you're having to come in an extra day, guess what? You're compensated for this, but right now we really need you. And yes, this frustrates me. This gets me upset because we have our weekly meets. We know exactly what we're trying to accomplish. Everybody here benefits from that.
Right.
Because what happens if the restaurant's status goes up? Guess what? You guys start getting some more pay.
That's
Not
right.
through just us, what we mean by tip opportunities, right? We don't have to tax you on your tips anymore. Guess what? You get to keep more of those tips. You get higher value clients, people that are giving you bills per every hour and a half. And guess what? What does that end up doing for you and your family? It puts you in a better position.
Well, let me ask you this. I mean, from the messages, was she technically fired or did she quit?
Yeah, she said she's fired.
She's
Yeah,
fired?
She said,
Yeah,
"Fuck
I
you."
saw that.
She literally
She
said, fuck you, you're fired.
Go work
Oh,
with
yeah.
your...
Yes, fuck
Oh,
you,
yeah.
and
And
you're
you're
fired
fucking
too.
fired
Yeah,
too.
okay, yeah,
So
she's fired.
she's literally said that. So that's what puts them at risk.
Yeah.
I fired you, fuck you, and you're fired because of this.
Yeah.
So it's still up for debate. I'm sure there's going to be some pressing matters here on the legal side of things, but
Yeah, I mean, the question becomes if it's even worth it from Valeria's standpoint. I mean, if she's got another job already, she's getting compensated well in that new job, and she
Well-
kind of wants to put things behind her, then what's the point, right? Because the question for any lawsuit is always, what's your damages, right? Practically speaking, what's at stake here, and what's the damages here? I don't know, right? It would be, how much work did you lose out in throughout these entire months because you got fired?
Yep.
And even then, the avenue for that is the TWC, Texas Workforce
well,
Commission.
I will tell you this: there's always a different agenda out there. My
Yeah, that's
my
right.
thought process is this. Sometimes it isn't just monetary. Sometimes it's like, you hurt me and I'm going to make sure you're hurt back.
Okay.
I honestly don't care if I'm going to get any money
Right.
from this.
The problem is, do you think she has the money to afford
Well,
to
then
fight
I was
like
going to
that?
bring up another case. Let's say, since this is getting so much attention right now, and we know there's some young entrepreneur attorneys out there to say, hey, I'm willing to attack this with you. I just want to go ahead and get that opportunity. There's going to be some attorneys out there that are hungry and want to make a name for themselves. Young attorneys like you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
They say, I honestly don't care
Pro
about
bono,
the pay.
baby.
You don't care about the pay either? Shit. We're aligned then. Let's go ahead and make these motherfuckers pay.
Johnny knows I've taken a lot of pro bono work. Like, I do a lot of pro bono
Oh,
work.
you know what?
annually.
Thank you for reminding me about pro bono work. I'm going to bring that up on the next topic we have after this one.
All right, cool.
But look, I will sum it up as far as this topic with Prime. Guys, as far as my take on this, as a business owner, leader also of some great employees that I have underneath me, I will tell you this. It's never going to be easy. Remind yourself, ground yourself as far as you're always going to be disappointed. How well are you going to get at managing these disappointments? Because if not, you can easily eliminate yourself from whatever industry you're at and whatever market shares you have just because of improper management.
That's true.
Don't put yourself at that risk. Be better. It's unfortunate all this happened. I mean, we'll see how this goes. Any other take on y'all's end?
Johnny, your takeaway?
No, I mean,
We're ready to go to the next topic. It's gonna get juicy.
Yeah, man, it is, because at the end of all this, guys, don't smoke crack.
well, really quick, what I'll say is this. I mean, in the RGV, it's rare, unless it's a corporate business, it's rare that these companies have HR departments.
Oh yeah, man.
So what does that mean? That means,
Bro, I like that you bring that up. You know why? Because every time I tell my team members, go ahead and let HR know. Motherfucker, I am HR.
Well, that's exactly right. Like the owners or the manager, right?
Yeah.
The leader of the company is essentially the judge, jury, and executioner, right? Like they decide.
I am the law.
Yeah. Yeah, they have all decision making
Dredd.
power. So what does that mean? That means that, I mean, the opinions that you have, whether you're comfortable or uncomfortable, will eventually lead up to that same person, your
Right.
manager or the owner.
Right.
So whatever job you get into, right, and you're kind of skeptical about it, well, just know that you're gonna have to have some type of tough skin, or just choose not to work there.
Right?
Either one of those.
That's all I have to
We're
say
gonna
about
find
that.
out.
So where does that take us next, Mo?
Let's talk about ICE and
Oh,
immigration
shit.
and these fucking protests. And there's no fucking king. And yes, I said there is a king, and it is our Lord Himself.
Christ.
If you guys ain't Christians, I'm gonna pray for y'all. Eventually, y'all might change your
Martin
take.
Luther King.
And I am not saying I am the perfect Christian. Okay, that is why I'm so grateful, because of how unworthy I actually am.
Right, guys.
So in no way am I saying be a perfect human being like myself. No,
No.
fuck me too.
Pause.
I'm
Me
constantly
too.
fucking sinning. And
I'm not perfect.
Lord, thank you, brother. Thank you for joining me on this. What about you, Johnny? Jew.
Oh, I'm sorry, I was reading.
You perfect too, Johnny? Nah, you're not perfect. Just kidding. I'm not perfect, bro.
98%.
Lord, forgive me.
No,
It's a beautiful Sunday. Always make the time for the Lord, okay? But
No one's perfect, bro.
nah. But let's really get taking a deep dive of these ICE protests. They're going on nationally, right? And they've actually been happening here in McAllen and
right.
throughout the valley as well. So, I mean, let's go over some of these things. RGV protests. Let's see how our people are reacting to these things.
Wait a minute. This isn't my world. Disappointed!
What are we looking at here, guys?
That's the Burger King on South 10th.
South 10th.
Burger King on South 10th?
Yeah.
Where exactly?
On South 10th, across the Taco.
Oh, against Taco Palenque?
Palenque.
Right before you
Like
go
the Blue
downtown?
Wave, like south of, like where the old HEB used to be.
Oh,
True Fit
okay.
is now.
So right by the expressway.
Right. So guys, let's
Sorry, Mike.
real quick. I want to do a quick. I want people to understand really quick on what does protest even mean.
Whoa. You want to show what everybody's been doing here first?
Yeah,
and
yeah,
then
go
we do it?
ahead.
Because that's
Go
going to
ahead.
be a deep dive, bro.
Go ahead.
Let's do that real quick.
Because
I only
it's
got
needed.
I only
It's
got
needed.
2 more videos to show.
Go ahead.
Let's do that. Again, this is in the valley. They always put that song.
I know, man.
Where's this at? Oh, look, same area, right?
Yeah, that's Denny's. Yeah.
So this is a protest? This is during the protest?
Yeah, this was yesterday.
And people were getting detained?
Yep.
Wow. I'm curious as to why.
At least they have an American flag. Wait, is that American? Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, there's someone over there with a Mexican flag. You see that on the right?
That's probably the person getting detained.
I have mixed views on that, and I'll share it a bit.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. See.
I will say this.
So, guys.
This is the next one that you sent, no?
Yeah.
Show them all, Mike. Let me show them all.
Go ahead, bro.
Is that
What is
it?
this or what?
I have no idea.
When you sent it.
Wait, I sent that? I didn't send that.
Well, one more that I want to bring up. This one, actually, I felt they were managing correctly. Now, this isn't a valley thing, but watch this. we don't condone burning the U.S. flag. And you had a Latino doing this.
Oh, good.
Yeah, look at this.
Good.
But the Americans are the ones doing this shit. You feel me? We're just chilling. Nobody's letting on. That's domestic. America doesn't even like America. The Mexicans like America. You ain't burning that flag. I'm here. I'm Mexican. My family's no immigrants. You're not burning that flag. You're not burning that flag.
And look at that.
You're not burning that flag. You're not burning that fucking flag.
Look at that, man.
Don't burn the American flag.
So look, this is the thing. Like, what are people even there for? Right? So understanding protest. What do? We break it shit down from its origin. Protest comes from the Latin term protestare. What does that mean? Pro meaning forth, testis as in witness. Protestare. So you're coming forth in protest or in declaration against something. In this instance, what is it against? Obviously, it's been nationwide. What's been going on for a couple months now, but it's at its height already. And actually, since January, since the president was sworn in, you've got Homan. I think it's Tim Homan is his name, and he's been the border czar. He's been the guy that's leading the ICE detentions as well as the deportations. And he's been fulfilling Trump's campaign promise of mass deportations. This is something that wasn't not known. It's something that I was a proponent of for the criminal's sake. The mass deportations came from the mass immigration, guys. Understand that. So whether it was an inflammatory term or not, obviously the intent from what I understood from Trump was to counteract the mass immigration that was being
that's what put us in this position
by the Dems. Yeah. Right. Aside from all that political talk, now we've got a humanitarian crisis. And I want to say crisis because that's what it is. You've got people that are trying to go the legal route, that are in here illegally, whatever the case may be, trying to show up to meetings, office meetings with the proper authorities to get their visa. They're being detained and then deported. You've got children, families that are here making a life better for themselves that are being separated and deported. If you've got the balls to separate a family that's here legally and that does not have a criminal history, right? Let's say the father and mother are just here illegally, but just for the sake of it because they want a better life, and you're separating them, fuck you. To me, from a humanitarian aspect.
No, I agree.
Yes, technically. Could they have gotten here legally? Okay, I get it. I agree with you on that. I completely agree. But then again, here comes the humanitarian aspect. Just be a decent human. If this is something where something can be worked out and there's some sort of issue that can be addressed without deportation, then let's fucking do it. So going back to, our solemn declaration, or at least what it should be from a protest aspect, you've got these protests. You've got the LA where they're waving the flag.
Jesse,
and I'll let
the
Mo,
screen.
Yeah. I'll let Mo get into that on what his thoughts are on that, and then I'll bounce off of his thoughts.
Well, look, I agree with everything you're bringing up. Yes. Can it be managed? Unfortunately, better. Can it be managed better? Yes. Is there a gray area? Yes, there is. Is it as complicated as everyone's making it seem? No, it really fucking isn't.
No.
We understand, generally speaking. I can't go too into detail, but I can help, eliminate more of that gray area. You have some working class, of course, unfortunately to say this, they are here illegally, immigrants. And then you've got these criminals that are unfortunately also part of that category of illegal overall. Can we, as the current administration, or as you mentioned, Mr. Homan, right? Is that correct?
Yes, Thomas Homan.
Can he do a better job on saying where it is we need to focus on first and who initially we're going to go ahead and fulfill these deportation numbers through? Yes, he can. Right now, it's just, in my opinion, although the overall objective of mass deportation is being done, it's still not being managed correctly in the case where, hey, who is it that we're actually really deporting, And unfortunately, this is only coming about because the past administration we had just said, let's just open up our fucking walls or our fucking border and let anybody fucking come through. So This is what we mean by always ask, why is this happening? Would this be happening if, ladies and gentlemen, I'll tell you this, if the walls or the border wasn't just completely open and we allowed millions of people to come in and cause all, and again, remember, there was even riots prior to this when all these people were just coming in. You had people from different countries basically becoming looters or, you know, living on the streets or causing all this chaos for residents, you know, taking over properties, ownership, you know, things like that. So anyways, what caused that? It really was this. And I'll tell you this. This is the second time I go through this. I remember going through this under Obama as well. There was more of a mass deportation there, but it was not managed in this case with all the chaos, okay? So anyways, this is, as Mike mentioned, the improper way to go ahead and do a peaceful riot. You got an individual right here with the Mexican flag. I don't know if he's really Mexican. He's all covered up, but maybe he is. I don't know. I'm not going to say all Mexicans are going to manage this the right way. I showed you a video earlier on how someone will say, we're not going to burn the American flag. My parents are immigrants. We love the U.S. We want to stay here. We're showing you this. But this is clear irresponsibility here as far as what a protest or how a protest is being mismanaged. Okay, you got a police vehicle here on fire, graffiti everywhere. This is stupid. Okay, and I will go in as far as even showing you. Don't take my word for it, but of course it's even on the local news. Let's show what initially. There's a clip here that I'm going to share with all of us.
Yes, please.
A sight to see. I mean, you can even still smell everything out here when you're really close to it. We have some video to show you from SkyCal when these cars were burning, set on fire yesterday in the afternoon.
Come on.
That was quite a sight.
What's the okay? What? How can you justify that as in protest? Right. I mean, you go back to the times of our Declaration of Independence. I get it. How did we protest? We fucking dumped tea over at the Boston Tea Party.
This is what I mean now. Businesses hit by looters. You know, you got people manipulating this.
Yes, that's exactly what I was about to say.
Inside, it appears that the store was ransacked. Also, the T-Mobile over on Broadway and 3rd in the video, you see LAPD standing.
Like looting stores is not justified.
As well, but same thing. It looks like either windows or doors were smashed in. And then a few blocks down at Broadway and 8th, the Adidas store also hit by looters. Broken glass, ransacked merchandise. LAPD this morning saying that if any businesses or stores were vandalized, damaged, have things stolen from them, they should file a report with LAPD Central Division. They should be documenting those, the damage and vandalism as well, so they can submit that into their police reports. By the way, we've reached out to
crazy, man. Look at this.
Back to these live pictures of these
why do this?
Here. We reached out to Waymo to try and figure out if they had stopped service in downtown LA. The company, if there's going to either web here, but the debris still in the.
So that's just going
different motives,
back to my
man.
point. You know,
it's different motives.
Well, yeah, I mean, because I mean, what's the idea of the protest, right? To speak out against something that they don't like, and the ultimate outcome is for whatever you're speaking out against is to either be stopped or changed, right? Mm-hmm. The question is, with this, will that happen? I mean, I don't know, right? Like, I mean, maybe Tom Hammond will continue to, you know, these raids and these detention, situations. Because the question is always going to become, man, like, especially on their eyes, right? Is it better to be feared or respected? In this case, it's feared, right? They're using force to, you know, to control, right?
I agree.
Now, what does that do to the people? I mean, that forces them to, you know, kind of act out in this manner. The question will go back to that, right? How do people that are against this type of these type of actions, you know, what is the best way for them to force the government to change, right? To change the way they're approaching things. I mean, is it literally protesting, or is it through, you know, kind of like in a strike, right? In a strike, you have people of that particular business, you know, stop working, and therefore it affects the business, right? Are there ways that individuals can protest or strike or, you know, do something in a manner where it affects the government and they're like, okay, well, this clearly isn't working. Let's try something different. as opposed to, you know, burning cars and shit where it's like, yeah, they're just, you know, that's really not affecting anything.
So, I mean, well said, Johnny. It's just, I don't know, man. Sometimes there's a lot of people that lack a lot of common sense. And again, all of this is inspired by, I think, what are they labeling this? Yesterday's protest was a No Kings protest, right? Am I mistaken?
No.
It was. I think I even read that it was like over 200 organizations that partnered up. Some partners that were included were like the American Civil Liberties Union, the American Federation of Teachers, Communication Workers of America, and Indivisible. All of these initially opposing Trump's and labeling it as a no king.
Yeah.
No kings.
Oh, you're talking about the No Kings protest
Yeah,
now.
that was yesterday.
Yeah, because it dovetails off of this.
Well, I mean, yeah, it does because they, you know, I mean.
Yeah, they're like, this is the
perfect opportunity to bring this up.
Dictatorship acts of, well, yeah, it's like,
So
then
there-
vice versa, you know, was it not a dictatorship act to allow this mass immigration?
Yes, it was.
You know, like,
Yeah.
you can't have your cake and eat it too, man. Shit.
Oh, shit,
Take
you
a fucking-
guys forget that at one point they had us all literally trapped in our homes because of this COVID thing. Shit, I brought it up. We might get taken down again. Might get ready to do an appeal. You know, but we got
shit.
Philadelphia. You got, these were the states that, or cities, major cities that also that were initially contributing to this whole No King protest, right? Los Angeles,
And
New York
really quick,
City,
brother.
Minnesota, Texas, Mississippi. That was why we even saw
look at that
people down
shit.
here, you know?
And the problem with all this, bro, it comes down to, again, what are you even protesting, right? Okay, no kings, dictatorship, whatever. But then how you pointed out, the Mexican flag aspect, and I think we needed to touch on that because we really kind of just glanced by it. The problem with that is, to me, that's almost terroristic, right? And why? You're coming into a new country saying, I belong here, but yet identifying with another country. I think the message is severely misleading. There's a cultural aspect versus a country aspect. Cultural, I get it, and I think that that's their intent. When they wave the Mexican flag, I don't think they're intending to come off as, you know, oh, I want another country in here. I think they're saying, accept my culturalism, that I am, you know, ethnically speaking, or whatever the case may be, a Mexican, right? But the idea that they should display another flag, any other flag besides the American flag, and let alone try to burn that flag is horrible.
And if you're trying, and again, not all of them have that. You saw one right here that say, no, we're not going to burn this. Fortunately, it just takes one bad apple to ruin the whole bunch.
That's right.
You get me? That's all it takes. And so I'm not going to say it's so easy to just make sure that the message is completely clear. I mean, look at what we're talking about in our first discussion here on how improper management can just destroy a whole local business in itself.
Right. Yeah.
Imagine trying to put a whole protest like this, whether it's the No Kings or the whole immigration area of it together. You got people that are going to be stupid and join in on this and just saying, yeah, I just like to fucking get here. Am I going to get paid like all the other protests? Or I'm just kidding. You know, that is... You know, you might say I'm a conspiracy theorist. Mike is overall the one that really goes down those rabbit holes, you know. But that in case has been proven already that people were indeed getting paid to join in on these previous protests or riots or etc. during the campaign between Kamala and Trump and stuff. So anyways, I'll tell you this also. You got people that will be stupid that'll join your organization. So be picky and clear about how all of this is going to initially be put together. If you're putting a peaceful protest together, make sure maybe treat it like a nonprofit organization. Make sure there's a clear website as far as what you guys' agenda truly actually is. That's just me thinking on the marketing side, and say, this is initially what we actually stand for. This is who we're allowing for. This is how we're managing who's actually here. Show some identification before you join our protest.
Yes.
That's what we're going to make mandatory, because if one of you guys acts up, we're holding you accountable, because that doesn't go towards our agenda.
Right.
But where's the management behind all of that? Anyways, I need to turn that part off. But what I will also get at is, I hate how right now, and the gentleman that I need to bring up is Mr. Gavin Newsom. You know what I mean? Acting like
Fan in
he
the flame.
truly fucking cares about immigration. And any Democrats right now that actually are portraying themselves to actually care about immigration.
Exploiting the situation.
One, you guys brought in a whole open border, you know, policy. Just let anybody that wants to fucking come in. But if you really were having these visionary views, right? You'd say, okay, what will probably happen if we lose some power? Yeah. Meaning our true agenda really is to promote equality and treat thy neighbor as you would treat yourself, pretty much, or you know, at that area. But okay, what are we going to do to protect these people when they're actually in? How can we go ahead and enhance the due process between them entering illegally to now being standard new U.S. citizens that are actually contributing to society? So you guys created this problem to begin with, right? Debate me on that. But two, also, you did a horrible job on managing it. Meaning, okay, you let these people in, but now there's no due process to actually keep them in here. And families are going to be ripped apart. You know, there's some good people and bad people. So you guys are going to come off, say, oh, we care about... Fuck you. You're using this strictly as an agenda to go ahead and promote and take over and say Democratic Party is the way to go. Last maybe 2 years ago, you guys, or the past year prior to this, the agenda was mostly, racial profiling or belittling of the African Americans, black people, right? That was your agenda. You know, oh, the aggression towards black people is horrible, and you were also throwing the LGBTQ, but where was the actual care for proper immigration? It was just like, no, just let everybody in, fuck it. Right. But it was just a complete fail. Now you guys want to act like you actually care about us. Don't get deceived either. You know, Latino community, Hispanics in general, we are a lot smarter than everybody actually thinks. Don't ever rely on an actual administration to bail you out of anything. I will tell you already on that. If you guys keep going, oh, you know, the Democratic Party is going to help me on this and the Republican. No, at the end of the day, it's your responsibility to take care of oneself. Put yourself, do all the delegation or do all the proper due diligence to put yourself in the best position for not only yourself, but if you have a family, for that family as well. So think bigger. Do not fall for these schemes. I'll tell you that. No party is actually in your best interest. It's at the end of the day, they're going to go ahead and have to look at it on a business standpoint. What's going to meet their agenda? I don't think it's being managed in the proper way either. I myself am being affected by this. You guys know I've mentioned this many times. I am in real estate development, and because of this, a lot of my crews and subcontractors are being affected by this. Not only myself, I've had other developers call me, hey Mauricio, how's it going? Hey, I know you guys are a powerhouse down here in the valley. How's your home Texas? Are you guys also getting affected by, you know, these ICE raids? Fuck yeah, we are. You know, we got maybe over 30 plus job sites and only 4 of them are being worked on right now. How the fuck is that affecting us? It's affecting us big time. It is. But yes, I'll tell you this. I did vote for Trump. I don't regret my vote for Trump. I do believe that maybe we'll go ahead and enhance how this initially is being managed. From what I hear right now, Trump's getting ready to put something in place for the agricultural side of things with immigrants right now, saying, okay, look, if you're out there in the field, technically speaking, helping us, you know, we're not going to make you a target. But now I'd say, you know, consider on the real estate development side now, whether commercial, residential, anything overall, you know, let's look out for those workers too, because they are helping build America. Okay. Sorry, I went on a rant, guys. Let's fucking go.
No, bro. I mean, I think a lot of your points are valid. In that sense, I mean, a lot of it comes down to that, right? To what you're saying. So I don't think that you're making any invalid points. The question, you know, in all of this becomes, right, who's exploiting what and why? There's just so many hidden agendas, bro. And for instance, a big question that comes to mind is, okay, everything fucking costs. Who the fuck's financially backing this, right? And there's 3 main organizations that come into mind. It's the CHIRLA, which I see here stands for the Coalition for Humane Immigrants' Rights of Los Angeles. I'm talking about the LA riots. Mm-hmm. But this is important to understand because this is plagued everywhere. And then it's the Party for Socialism and Liberation, PSL, and Union del Barrio. Now, guys, keep in mind the PSL, the Party for Socialism and Liberation, was actually under investigation right now from Senator Hawley's Senate Judiciary Subcommittee on Crime and Counterterrorism. Why? Because this self-described as I wouldn't say self-described, but it's a party described as a Marxist political group. Marxism, aka socialism. You're talking Soviet Union back then, sort of prior Russia propaganda. Because these organizations were funding these protests. Why would they do that? What's their agenda behind it? Especially a socialist party, right? Like, why would a socialist party partake in this? Who fucking knows? The point of the matter is, guys, when protesting, the hardest part about any protest, which is becoming evident, is sticking to the message. What is the fucking message that you're protesting?
Yeah, I completely agree. I think, yeah. I mean, I completely agree on that point because at the end of the day, it comes down to the people, right? The people's voice at this point, and I'll use this analogy. I mean, I saw this episode of Rick and Morty where Rick, obviously the genius, shows up somewhere, and then this other guy, I think the villain in the episode, kind of describes him, right? He describes them, and then the people, there's an audience there, and the audience starts booing Rick, right? They're like, boo, like, you believe in this, and Rick responds like, I don't care about your boos because I know what you guys cheer for.
Yeah.
Right.
Nice.
And that's a strong message
like,
because
I'm not seeking your validation.
Exactly.
I don't care for your validation.
Exactly. So as for example, this one guy, Tom Homan, or even Trump, right? They see what the people are doing and they're like, I see what you guys are doing, but I don't believe that you believe in what you're talking about.
Yes.
Right.
I don't take you serious.
Exactly. So therefore we're going to continue doing what we need to do. And it's like you were saying, Mike, it all goes down to, who's funding these movements, and is it the actual people that are doing it, or is it paid, right?
Yes.
And does it even mean anything at this point, right? So my point is that as people, because as an individuals have a common sense, but you put people together, then things start to get a little chaotic.
The messages get lost. Do you remember that one thing from speech class? I didn't take speech class, but I was in there once. They were doing an exercise, how they would say one word at the end of it, and then at the end of it, it would come out as something completely different.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
But, I mean, obviously, speaking in terms of humanity and crisis and what the fuck is going on, now we've got fucking, potential World War III on our hands here.
World War III, and that's crazy, dude. It's not something to take lightly, right? Because
not at all.
World War III.
Two countries going at it hard, and we have some videos, Mo. If you want, we can just show the videos, and then we can let that
put some take on it.
Yeah, you can let that speak for itself.
I actually remember. I think it was obviously earlier this week, but I get a message. What is it? I think it's from Mike or Jesse or maybe you gentlemen, and it's like World War III looks like we're about to enter.
Jesse.
Yeah, and I was just like, "What are you guys talking about, or what?" Sure enough, I see those.
The barrage of missiles.
Yeah, dude. Well, yeah, and I think I told you already.
Pull up that video, Mo.
It reminds me of
Did you send it, bro? I don't see it.
I sent it to Mo on TikTok.
Oh, okay.
Oh, on TikTok? Oh, let me pull it up. Tell me, bro. Tell me.
Yeah,
just kidding.
That's my bad. No, but like I was telling you, it reminds me from that one scene in the movie Dune, right? It's the first part where they get invaded by the Harkonnens, and it's in the middle of the night, and then you just see the attacks, and it's very similar to what's going on here, where Iran's being invaded by Israel.
And here's what's crazy, right? About going really quick on that is this is all along like the Gaza Strip area. But Israel's like so far away from Iran, right? Like Israel's like a little piece of land. And you got Iran, which is significantly bigger, and they're like fucking poking the bear. It's just like, hey, destroying their nuclear facilities, wiping out their entire general staff. And their top scientists.
If you can, Johnny, send what you sent me through Stogies and stuff, because I'm already sending there. But right now,
WhatsApp?
Yeah, no, through the TikTok, Instagram. I mean TikTok account. So second wave. So this one was.
This was the second wave. 6 hours ago. Shit.
Second wave of Iranian missiles hits Israel. Watch.
Oh fuck. Like, dude, no one is safe there with that shit. Like, these people are bold for recording that, dude. Because
they're right in front of them.
Yeah,
that shit, dude.
All I know is that if this shit was happening in the U.S., Like, people would be running all over the street, everything, dude. Like,
well, we'd be getting fucking armed up, man. Fuck that. Fuck running, fighting.
yeah.
Look at that shit, dude. I sent you the rest. I sent you the rest on Stogies. But yeah, dude, it's freaking crazy, like the severity of the situation.
Imagine waking up to that.
Good Lord, man. Holy shit, dude. That's terrifying, man. Honestly, my main priority, fellas, would be like, guys, call y'all up. I'd get my wife, my kids to the safest place possible, and I'd be like, all right, how the fuck can I defend our family, you know?
Yeah, because I mean that's the whole idea of this situation, Israel and Iran, right? Can it explode into other countries? Because right now, obviously, we're neutral between the two, but I mean, obviously,
We're playing Switzerland,
right?
But indirectly backing Israel, though.
Right.
On the deaths and destruction mounting on both sides, and today's scheduled negotiations over Iran's nuclear program also a casualty. ABC's Marcus Moore.
Oh, look, like I was just saying. Remember, I was just comparing Israel and then Iran.
Janae, good morning to you. We are just south of Tel Aviv at the site where an Iranian missile landed on a residential building overnight, and you can see the damage. Also, crews have been urgently searching for 3 people who were said to be missing in that rubble. And Janae, we also learned overnight that several people died here, including children.
You hear that shit? It pisses me off, because all I think about is my kids.
Carrying out fresh waves of deadly attacks.
Was they're innocent, man.
In Israel, video circulating online capturing this massive strike and flying over Jerusalem.
Like, what are your thoughts on this, Johnny? You see this shit, and what can you think of this other than fuck, right? Like, like, is it justified, first of all? And that's a hard question to answer.
Yeah, that's a hard question to answer.
Well, I mean, this is when we go down to the main issue. What caused all of this?
Yeah.
And because at one point, Israel and Iran used to be allies, but this is back like 1970 something, bro.
This
back
was
in
the pre revolution.
Yeah, and then
Iran, like 1970s.
They obviously had new leadership, and things change, and again, everything comes down to management. But everything escalated once Iran started focusing more on its nuclear facilities.
Mm-hmm.
That's what caused it all. And then Israel threw out the whole Operation Rising Lion.
Mm-hmm.
That's initially what they called it.
Oh, the recent one.
Yeah. And so that's the basically leadership targeting these threats that could be to Israel. And obviously, you don't want to hear that someone's expanding their nuclear program right in front of you. You get me? That's the last thing you want to hear. So I don't blame them for bringing it up. Hey, this needs to stop. You guys need to stop now. From what I was also told is that the U.S. was made aware that Israel was going to go ahead and do this attack.
Yeah, Trump knew about it.
Yeah, Trump knew about it. And, he kept saying, it's got to stop. It's got to stop. There's got to be a meet. They were supposed to have a scheduled meet coming up. This was going to be, of course, before, obviously after. It was supposed to be a few days later, but this attack ended up canceling that whole meet.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, I'm getting too detailed. My opinion here is I understand both sides. I don't agree with death overall or just any kind of
violence.
massacre, as far as, especially, you got some innocent people, children also getting affected by this. And it's just so fucking sad to see and hear about. Like, that's kind of the reason why I just hate turning on the news sometimes. It seems like there's just nothing but negative things on here. And it sucks because a lot of people are constantly throwing out hate, from what I see, also for Israel, to be exact, and trying to take sides. Like, you're either pro-Israel or pro-Palestine, or anything on that area. Mm-hmm. And I'd like to say I think it's a little bit more complicated than that, guys.
Yep.
Every from my experience, history, watching nations grow, has at one point been the bad guy. Okay, that doesn't mean you can't change. But I will go back to this. My stance on this is, unfortunately, it seems like we've been talking a lot about leadership lately, especially in this podcast. How does one become a better leader? And when you do have better leadership, though, maybe it leads for more success, for more favorable outcomes in regards to, disappointing or stressful situations that you're being placed in. So how do we become more proactive about this overall? I think we all need to remind ourselves about being better human beings.
Yes.
We continue on personal development. We continue on expansion of mindset. And I will tell you this. I know we don't have a lot of Christians nowadays, or we do, or different types of Christians, Catholics, everybody's got different things.
You name it.
It shouldn't be that complicated. There's only one living God, and that's it. We all know the clear rules of all of this. And ever since I made God part of my life, it has changed many parts of I've tried doing things on my own, adapting personalities, adapting, meditation, adapting. Hard work is everything. And I'll tell you this, for the most part, some of those attributes definitely contribute to you being a better version of yourself, but they're not fulfilling and they're not full of purpose, because once you conquer that, then you're going to ask yourself, what do I have next to conquer? And that's when you start going along and start flirting along the lines of different areas to idolize: money, power, etc. But when you have, in my experience, and it should be yours too, when you have the Lord in your heart and you make that priority and your sole purpose to serve, you won't be tempted with these other idolizations that I just brought up. And if you are tempted, you go back to prayer and you ask for that help, the guidance, the wisdom, the love, the favor, etc., all to do in His name. And I truly believe many of these things here will basically dissolve. Okay, that's my input on it. You guys can share some more. That I just think overall, if you have shitty fucking people in place, you're gonna get some shitty fucking outcomes. Well, right. It's that fucking simple.
I couldn't agree more, brother. This goes back to, literally, I would say, goes back to the meaning of the behind people's message. We see here that a message can get lost in translation as simple as a protestari, bringing forth a disagreement or essentially a disavowalment of a certain message. I think the people of both Iran and Israel need to remember, what are we fighting about? Are we fighting about shit that can be hashed out by having open conversation on religious views? Or is this an actual thing where we're fighting about people with hidden agendas and people are being manipulated in furtherance of those hidden agendas? That's probably what it is.
Yep.
Because, if people of religion, the number one thing of religion is setting aside violence, right? Let's talk it out. And at least that's my interpretation of it. So that being said, let's talk about it. Let's have an open conversation about it. That's probably not going to happen. That's wishful thinking at this point. Mm-hmm. Trump, sorry, Trump, all BS aside, I know you want to keep it, but I just saw something get tweeted out a little while ago, or not by him, but essentially that he says peace will come soon. And maybe there will be, but unfortunately, that's his intent, and I get it. But, don't be a part of that whole misleading of the people, man. Like, missiles are being sent, people are dying.
Are we in the point of no return? Mm-hmm. That's the question.
Let's have what do you think, Mo? Just a short answer.
I think we need to play out the next events coming in. We take into account what's there. Either they have, I think there's too many deaths now involved. I really do think that there probably is going to be a war. Or, one could argue that the war is already in place.
So that's your position.
There's probably going to be a war. Now, is it going to be World War III? Probably not. Well, I don't think so. But we'll see.
My thing on this is I think there's too many minds involved in decision making that I think we are at a point of no return. And, whether this starts World War III or not, I don't know. But what I mean by point of no return is there's going to be a continued exchange of violence between these two countries, Israel and Iran. And there's no returning from that. That's something I think for as long as these two countries exist is going to continue to happen. Now, the question will become, is this something where the rest of the world will partake? And that is the threshold point we're at.
Right. The way I'm seeing it is the actual war itself, right? If a global war were to erupt, obviously that means that multiple countries get in the fight. But I mean, from what we're seeing, it looks like the countries are fighting from within their own homes. You know what I mean? They're just sending stuff back and forth. So I mean, that's the question, right? Will other countries get involved and just kind of shoot stuff from their own, you know, seat, or will countries start invading other countries? I mean, because that's a question, right? I mean, is anyone trying to overtake each other's land? Because like World War I, World War II, that's all it was, you know, Germany and Russia trying to overtake land, and then people get involved, right? We start deploying troops. But I don't know if that's the case here. Kind of like the Ukraine-Russian war, right? That troops had to get deployed because lands were being overrun. But I don't think that's the case here. So
I'll just say this: if escalations continue to be unchecked, then you know what? We probably will enter some kind of world war. But if these next events are checked, meaning seizing fire, finding a way to cease fire between both of these countries, and getting back into the talks of some kind of agreement, then great. But it's too soon to tell right now. Seems like nobody's wanting to talk to each other. We already know the U.S. is highly involved as an ally for Israel. So we're going to see, guys. We'll play it out.
We will see.
All right. But I guess this concludes the episode of Stogies and Stuff today. Stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen.
People.
You guys know exactly what we stand for. Like, share, subscribe, all the thing. We've got a website coming up. We've got some gear officially get ready to push up.
Gear will be available soon, guys.
We're going all out for y'all. So stay tuned, ladies and gents.
Alrighty, guys. I don't know what the fuck to say.
Hey, they be wishing death on me like 50 said. Many men. Trust me, there's a ton of them. I should probably be in there with thugging them or be in there with gunning them. If they locking niggas up for growing up around some hitters trying to govern them, or building something from the bottom with your brothers down. Hey, J Skull get hot here, oven head. Hey, spend some bands, but I never fall in love again. Winning not enough for me. I like to be petty about it, dropping number one, and when it's done, I just forget about it. You think you know what happened cause you read about it. Give me a head and don't get in your head about it. Crisp night force is the only time I force it. I told her get a bag and some shoes